Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12.
It says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood,
but against the rulers,
against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world,
and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms."
Get ready, because the next few months are critical. We will be closer to Jesus' return than ever before.
It's important to open our eyes and watch for signs, as these 4 signs confirm what the Bible said long ago. God warns us about 4 big things that'll happen soon, but some signs have already started showing up, like the total solar eclipse in April 2024, floods in Dubai, the Philippines, Afghanistan, and Indonesia, and strong earthquakes in Japan and Taiwan. All these were predicted in the Bible as signs of God's second coming. They're not just random events. They're part of what's written in the Bible about His return. Before we talk more about these signs, we'd like your support by subscribing. That way, we can keep sharing these prophecies with you, and you can also tell your friends and family about them. May blessings be with you. The first prophecy talks about technological advances. Let's look at Revelation 13, which offers great insights. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. You may have noticed that technology is advancing rapidly, especially with the constant development of new artificial intelligences. This trend will continue to grow in the coming months with many surprising innovations. Have you ever thought about how things that seemed impossible 50 years ago are now part of our daily lives? We have become so dependent on this rapid and surprising evolution. It shows us how biblical prophecies about the end times and the return of Jesus are being fulfilled. Among the many technologies in development, one of the most advanced is a system that monitors everything we do. For example, apps that connect your phone to your car can track all your trips over the years, including every place you visit, every gas station and roadside restaurant you stop at, which stores you go to, how long you stay there, and how much you spend on tolls. Isn't that scary? The same applies to our financial transactions. Today, a technological economic system allows us to pay bills and make purchases without using physical money, just a credit card or an app. Even supermarkets and other businesses have trouble giving change because hardly anyone carries cash anymore. This might not seem like a big deal, but it's actually a sign that the groundwork for a powerful global leader to take control of finances is already set, just like how the Apostle John described in the Bible with the mark of the beast. Only authorized people will be able to buy and sell. In the coming months, things might get worse, with governments introducing digital currencies that offer advantages over physical money. This shift to digital money isn't just about being more efficient or secure. It reflects a worldwide trend toward unity, where a single digital currency could let a leader control global trade. As this change happens, it fits in with other prophecies about the end times. To understand what's going on, remember that we are living in times when these ancient prophecies are starting to come true, even if many people aren't aware of it. Another important part of how technology shows the coming of the Antichrist is artificial intelligence. Right now, AI helps us with lots of things every day and seems harmless, but soon, scientists at the Future of Humanity Institute at the University of Oxford want to make super smart AI that could take over the world and start wars. These experts say this kind of AI could get smarter on its own and not need people to control it. getting better all the time. For this big problem to happen, someone would have to make this super smart AI with the goal of ruling the world no matter what, which sounds like what the Antichrist would do. It might sound scary, but it's a real concern. The devil is sneaky and might influence scientists to make this kind of technology faster than we think. So, it's important not to underestimate how powerful it could be. Even though the devil can only do things with God's permission, the Bible tells us that this world is controlled by evil, and the devil is like its ruler. Another prophecy talks about global unity in Revelation chapter 13. It describes a beast with 10 horns and 7 heads rising from the sea. Each head has a crown and a disrespectful name. This beast can fight against God's followers and defeat them, and it's given power over every group of people from all over the world. You might have heard about the New World Order. Some people think it's only about religion, something far away or even made up, but it's not. The New World Order is real and affects everything: laws, business, money, technology, protests, and beliefs. They want a new kind of global politics with one set of rules for everyone. Under one leader, this type of government will get stronger in the next few months. Many leaders see the world as a messy child that needs a grown-up to lead it. So it's important for responsible leaders to manage everything and everyone well. Lately, we've seen countries joining together more than ever, making deals about politics and money that might lead to one global government soon. A close example is the strengthening of the BRICS group, formed by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries are working together to grow, and the relationships are strengthened by current governments. It is quite possible that the coming months will be crucial for them, with some members already advocating for the creation of a common currency to facilitate trade among themselves. This is just one way that partnerships are making it possible for the prediction in Revelation 13 to come true. It talks about a leader who will take control of all nations, and that leader is the Antichrist. When you see on TV or online that countries are teaming up to become stronger, remember that this isn't a coincidence, but it's what the Bible said would happen. God doesn't want you to be tricked. In the next few months, everything happening will be connected. No event will happen on its own. Every war, partnership, and argument is part of God's plan. You might be surprised by what's happening now and what's to come, but God isn't surprised. Everything is going just as He planned. Jesus talked about this when He was alive. Whenever you hear about something happening around the world, think about how it fits with what the Bible said would happen. The third prediction talks about how human values are getting worse. The Apostle Paul wrote about this in another letter, warning about how people will act in the future. He said, "But remember, in the last days, times will be really hard." In 2 Timothy chapter 3, it says, "People will become selfish, love money, brag, be proud, mean, not listen to their parents, be ungrateful, not care about what is right, not forgive others, say bad things about others, not control themselves, be violent, not love what is good, turn against their friends, do things without thinking, be full of themselves, and love pleasure more than they love God." They will act like they worship God, but they won't let His power change them. If you look around, you'll see that love between people is fading fast. But it's not just about losing faith in Jesus Christ. It's about a bigger change in how people behave. As we get closer to the end times, moral values are getting worse, and society's rules are changing. We're seeing more betrayals and disloyalty among people, which is really troubling. In many families, conflicts between parents and kids have gotten really bad, sometimes even turning violent. And it's not just at home. We're also seeing leaders who don't seem to care much about people's lives. Instead, they're more interested in getting rich and powerful for themselves instead of looking out for the communities they're supposed to help. This shows that there's less respect for the important moral values that keep society fair and peaceful. Selfishness is also getting worse and every day. Lots of people are only thinking about themselves without considering how their actions affect others. This self-centered attitude is causing problems in families where spouses aren't spending enough quality time together or supporting each other like they should. Even in the spiritual and religious realm, where people expect kindness and caring for others, there are troubling signs. Some religious leaders seem more interested in getting attention for themselves instead of focusing on sharing important messages and values. This shift from their real purpose, which is to guide and inspire their communities through faith, is a problem. It shows there's a big moral issue that needs fixing. This highlights how important values like honesty, respect for others, and standing together are in fixing society and making people trust institutions again. The last prophecy we need to talk about is apostasy, which means giving up on faith. In a letter to the church in Thessalonica, the Apostle Paul warned about this. He said, "Don't let anyone trick you into thinking that the end is already here. It won't happen until there's a big rebellion and the person who goes against God is shown. This person will be destroyed." This is a major warning about the end times and talks about people turning away from faith. The Bible talks about a big shift away from what God teaches, and we're seeing it happen now. More and more people who say they're Christians and follow Jesus are turning away from him like they never knew him. This is expected to get worse. Some Christians who used to preach or help out in church have now given up on Jesus to chase after things that make them feel good. Some have started doing bad things, while others are being careless about what's right. Also, we've noticed that some churches are becoming more lenient, doing things that don't match up with what they used to believe, and lots of believers are leaving. It's worrying to see the world's influence creeping into the church, with some people saying they're Christians, but not living like it. But that doesn't make sense. It's like saying, "I'm a vegetarian, but I eat barbecue every day." People are caring less about what's important and good, and instead, they're doing wrong things, even some pastors and leaders. The excitement many people used to have for God has faded, and the church is getting closer to the world, and the world is getting closer to the church. All of this sets the stage for the Antichrist, who will come pretending to be a hero, offering peace and safety to everyone. So in the coming months, it's really important for us to spend time and energy on making our relationship with God stronger. Sometimes we risk letting our own wants and desires take over our lives instead of leaving room for God. When this happens, we might end up going off track from what God wants for us. It's crucial to stay humble and keep asking God for guidance so we can live by the values and principles that bring us closer to Him. Also, it's key to be honest with the people close to us, like our spouse, family, and friends who share our faith. Thinking about the sins we might be hiding from them is a big step towards truly changing our hearts. Hiding our mistakes might seem easier in the short term, but it can really damage our relationships and our connection with God. So it's important to own up to our mistakes quickly and ask for forgiveness and make things right. We have to understand that living two different lives has serious consequences. Sin might seem tempting, promising freedom, but it actually traps us in feelings of guilt and pain. Challenges and temptations will always be there, so we have to stay alert and stick to a lifestyle that honors God and follows His truth, avoiding things that lead us away from doing what's right. Right now, we're seeing a lot of changes happening worldwide because of new technology that's making countries and cultures more connected. But at the same time, many people aren't sticking to their faith or Christian values like they used to. These changes show that we might be getting closer to the end times, like the Bible talks about. During this time, Jesus will come back to gather up the people who followed His teachings and did what He said. But those who ignored His teachings and lived in ways that went against them will be judged. It's a time to think about how we're living our lives and the choices we're making. It's important to know that God didn't send this message to scare you about the future. It's meant to encourage you to stay strong and confident, even when things around you are tough. God wants you to be ready and strong, not afraid or unsure. He wants you to face challenges with bravery, keeping your faith strong and remembering that you're not alone in this journey. I'll end this video with a message from Jesus to all His followers. I leave you peace. My peace I give you. I don't give like the world gives, so don't worry or be afraid. If you found this message helpful, share it with your friends and family, and think about subscribing to my channel. May God bless you a lot.